The key positions. First, there are the two Pro Bowl quarterbacks, Joe Montana of the Niners and Phil Simms of the Giants. And to mix up the attack, each team has a runner who's coming off a record-breaking season. Roger Craig, the all-purpose back for San Francisco, and New York's breakaway threat, Joe Morris. They're going at each other today for the right to challenge the mighty Bears next week in Chicago.
Only a few NFL coaches have made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
It's been rising this morning, and of course, the key in Giant Stadium is always the wind. And right now, the wind is out of the south at only 5 miles an hour.
Bring us up to date on his physical condition.
What he said is last week against the Cowboys, he injured his ribs. And you can see here in this shot that he's wearing rib pads today. It's on his left side, right underneath that 6. He said now it really didn't bother him in the second half. He said then he came out to practice on Wednesday, and he said he couldn't throw. He couldn't rotate. So he didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. He really hasn't practiced all week. And he said he'll start today, but he doesn't know if he can go the whole game. He said he would rather have Kavanaugh in there at 100% than him in there just at 50%.
From the Giants' viewpoint, their best receiver, Lionel Manuel, was out with a pulled hamstring.
NFL game.
Some this week, as we've done a lot of guys. But he worked on Friday, and he's out there. Looks pretty good throwing the ball right now.
We'll see here. Michael Carter comes off the nose, and if he gets off to one side, you just can't stop the guy.
Can you imagine being a center and having to take that ball and snap it up between your legs and block two?
But now he's a Pro Bowl football player, and they want to get him the ball about 6, 7, 8 times a ball game, and they can get it to him deep, as shown right here. If they get it to him deep, they'll win the football game. It's Kennard's job, right, Joe?
You like the other team?
Well, I like the Giants. They're a home team that's healthy, playing a traveling team that's banged up. You have to give the edge to the home team.
All right, so Dick Vermeil is going to go in his pick with the Giants to win it. And Joe Gibbs, how about you? Who do you agree with?
I had to go with the Giants. I like home field, but I also like the fact that last time they played, the Giants shut them out in the second half. I think they have the incentive. They don't like getting beat this many times by the 49ers.
I just happen to think there are too many injuries, Jimmy, out there on the 49ers. I'll have to pick and then go the other way.
That's what we did. That's what we did.
They coached me. They coached me.
Now, for the first time since 1962.
Winners, on the other hand, have a more recent history of success. The defending Super Bowl champions played the best 30 minutes of their 1985 season last week in beating the Dallas Cowboys. Rarely have the 49ers showed such emotion as they did in last Sunday's desperate second half. But they paid a price. 5 San Francisco players left or were carried from the field with injuries. Can Bill Walsh piece his champions together for another big effort today? Surely he must know that New York is ready. Giant fans have waited 23 years for this.
San Francisco 49ers against the New York Giants.
Temperature 32 degrees, humidity 34%, forecast is cloudy, but the significant factor is the wind at the west end zone at 7 miles an hour. Well, we'll get a chance to look at the 49ers on offense first as Eric Schubert, number 3, will kick off in the direction of Carl Monroe and Dana McLemore, who is number 43. Schubert, who not too long ago was teaching high school for $35 a day here in New Jersey. He is the 3rd Giant place kicker of this year. He's ready. It will be to Carl Monroe at the 6-yard line. He is hammered at about the 22. By number 22, Lee Roussan. Elvis Patterson, who has had an outstanding year as a cornerback for the Giants, is down on the opening kickoff. That could really hurt.
You know, Coach Bill Parcells was concerned about his kickoff coverage. He said he would have to use some of his starters there. And right now, he really has to be concerned about losing his starting left corner.
And Ted Watts, number 21, has already come on and will take Elvis Patterson's place.
We can see it's at the top of the picture here. He's going to fall over Fawnhorse right there. You see him going down right there. And it looked like he caught his left ankle or his left foot in the carpet as he went over Jim Fawnhorse.
And Patterson is still down and still being attended to. Team on those special teams.
And, you know, probably of all the positions on a National Football League team, the one that you can least play while you have any injury is that cornerback spot.
There's not much help out there. It happened on the opening kickoff, and Watts, number 21, will take his place. And the 49ers certainly are very aware of that fact. First down, San Francisco. The ball at their own 23. Joe Montana is starting at quarterback. We'll set the offensive and defensive lineups for you in just a minute. The top-rated quarterback and the Pro Bowl-headed quarterback, Joe Montana. Roger Craig was the man in motion. They fake a draw play. Montana flushed out of the pocket. Fires upfield, intended for Jerry Rice, covered by Watts. The lineups for the 49ers. Montana, the quarterback. Derek Harmon and Roger Craig, the runners. Dwight Clark and Jerry Rice, wide receivers. Up front, it's Paris and Funhorse, the tackles. Ayers and Guy McIntyre in place of Randy Cross at guard. Fred Quillen at center, and Russ Francis, the tight end. Second down and 10 from the 23. 49ers go with two tight ends, both of them lined up to the right side. Frank was in the backfield. Pitch back to Craig, and Craig gets only a couple. Harry Carson on the stop. The Giant defense, McGriff, Burt, and Marshall up front. The linebackers Hunt, Reasons, Carson, and Taylor. And now they make massive substitutions. The secondary, as it stands now, Watts, Williams, Hill, and Kennard. Here is Elvis Patterson, unwrapping his ankle. And we're still not sure where the injury is. Clark goes in motion, heads upfield. Montana gets it outside of Rice. Rice is close to a first down. I don't believe he got it. Montana's walking off.
Now, excuse me, Bev, but one thing that affects is usually Ted Watts would come in on the nickel situations, on the passing situations. Now with Watts starting, Patterson out, then they can't go to the nickel. They didn't on that third down play.
This is as loud as I've ever heard this crowd. Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants, and Max Runiger will fight. High kick that's going to stay up there a long time. McConkey handles it and is hammered immediately. Bill Ring was the first man down. The Giants will take over at their own 35, and this is the way they'll start. Sims at quarterback. Joe Morris and Rob Carpenter, the runners. Bobby Johnson and the just activated Lionel Manuel at the wide receiver spots. Up front, a unit that's largely unsung but has done a heck of a job this year. Benson, Ard, Oates, Godfrey, Nelson, and Mark Bavaro, the tight end.
And they're going to have their work cut out for him today, Pat, especially with the 49er nose tackle, Michael Carter.
Carter goes about 300 pounds, and he is quick. Manuel moves in motion. Sims gives to Morris, and Morris, a gain of about 9. Williamson and Lott had to make the stop. That's what they hope to be able to do. Here is the defense. Hardy and Ford, the ends. Carter, the nose tackle. Shell Ellison, Michael Walter, and Keena Turner, the linebackers. Hicks, Torrey Nixon in place of Eric Wright. Williamson and Lott, the two safeties. The word on Elvis Patterson is that he should be able to return. McConkey goes in motion. Second and short. Sims to Morris. Morris dances into 49er territory. Ronnie Lott had to make the stop again along with Hicks. Gain of 6.
You know, it's interesting, Pat. Joe Morris was telling us yesterday on those inside runs, he's going to key Michael Carter. Michael Carter went to the right side. Now watch, Carter will come towards us to the right side. Morris starts that way. Now he sees Carter coming this way. See Carter in there? And then boom, he's going to cut right off. You see, and he goes back the other way. So they're starting right at him, and they're going away from the way he slants.
Very few backs have that kind of ability. Here's Sims with plenty of time. Down the middle to Carpenter. Carpenter to the 49er 33. Another Giant first down. Michael Walter on the tackle.
I'll tell you one thing about this Giant offense is they're coming out attacking. They started off, Bill Parcells said, we have to be able to run early, one, so that we can continue to run, but two, so that we can later play pass.
McConkey goes out wide to the right, and Bobby Johnson is left. Give this to Morris. Behind Godfrey. Tina Turner finally made the stop. Billy Ard also out in front of Morris. Elvis Patterson up and walking around. Right now, it doesn't look like he'll return anytime soon.
Well, the word is that it's a mild ankle sprain. I think it's his right ankle. It's saying underneath that bothers him. You know, they're trying to get him where they can tighten it up and get some support on him.
2nd and 7, Giants at the 49er 31. Sims back to throw. They're trying to put some pressure on him. It was intended for Morris, and it went over his head. He was open.
Tell you, that's one of the few things that Joe Morris has to have a tough time with, is only being 5'7". It's tough to find in there in that pass, and Phil Sims just threw it over his head.
That'll bring up a 3rd down situation. 3rd and 7 at the 30. Fred Dean and Jeff Stover come into the 49er defensive picture. Giants go with 3 wide receivers. McConkey in the slot to the left. Sims for McConkey. Over his head. Dwight Hicks was the defender. This should just about be in Schubert's range. This will be 47 yards. And yesterday, in talking to Bill Parcells, I asked him what he felt the range was, and he said somewhere between 47 and 50, and that's where he is.
I think he may be in his range, but he's right at the end of his range.
Right.
Schubert is one of the few kickers in the league that watches the snap and the hole.
That's far enough, and that's good enough. Here's Coach Parcells. Looked like a bit of a smile. It's 3-0. The Giants on top with 11:03 left to play in the first quarter. 3-0. The Giants over the 49ers. The scoring drive, 47-yard field goal by Schubert, finished it off. 7 plays. They kept it 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And Schubert, who's responsible for the points, ready to kick off now. Monroe and McLemore back deep for the 49ers.
I think the officials aren't ready, Pat.
I think you're right.
Yep, they got something they have to talk about before they let him kick the ball.
Rhett Cashin is the referee. He wants to talk with some of the other officials and to Bill Parcells. And I'm not sure what's going on now.
Well, Bill Parcells said it's okay. Maybe it was something about the clock. Oh, I see what it is.
Yeah.
What it is, the 49er phones to the coaching box are out. So therefore, when that happens, the other team has to kill the phones to their box. So there's no communication now between the coaches in the box and the coaches on the sideline for either team.
Line drive kickoff goes into the end zone where Kyle Monroe will down it. And they'll bring it out to the 20. So the Giants will have to keep their phones inoperable until they get the 49ers fixed.
That's right. And then you see Bill Walsh on the sideline without a headset. When's the last time you've seen that when the 49ers are on offense?
Ted Watts has come back out and will play the left corner. No Patterson yet. Andy Hedden has come into the Giant lineup on defense. And Wendell Tyler is in the backfield for San Francisco. Tyler and Craig swap spots. Montana back to throw. Dwight Clark, the receiver, and he held on and took a pretty good hit from Kenny Hill. A gain of 20.
Of course, that's against Ted Watts here. They know that. I think they were probably going to work on Patterson on this side. Now, that was a zone. Watts was up in a zone, and he bumped Clark short, and then the safety, Hill, came over as a deep guy. And Dwight Clark went right between them. He went between Watts and Kenny Hill.
Mike Wilson has taken Clark's place, and that's Wilson in motion. Bubba Paris moved on the far side of the field. Now here comes the flag. Clark was really rocked by Kenny Hill. 49ers call for the violation. Patterson still trying to walk. And if that continues, there's no way he can play.
I tell you, it looks like it's getting worse. You know, sometimes that'll happen. When you're warm, it feels pretty good. Then as you stand on the sideline, it starts to swell up.
They're still looking at Dwight Clark down on the 49er bench. And here's Montana, fake draw. Gonna throw. Has Francis. To about the 45. Lawrence Taylor on the stop. A gain of about 10.
Yeah, with Wendell Tyler in there now, Pat, Bill Walsh said, we have him active. He just had arthroscopic surgery on his knee 2 weeks ago, and he's back here playing today. But as Bill said, if he can play, we might as well play him early. There's no reason to let him warm up and stand on the sideline and put him in later. Said we'll want to get him in early and see what he does.
And you saw perhaps Dwight Clark check back into the lineup. He slid wide to the left. This is Roger Craig. Craig hammers for a 49er first down inside Giant territory to their 46. Watts made the tackle. A gain of 8 by Roger Craig.
You know, that's the play that we see everyone do now, that counter tray. We'll see Roger Craig. When Wendell Tyler starts in motion, Roger Craig will take a step to the left and get in behind his big left tackle, Bubba Paris. Big Bubba got out there in front of him, made a nice block.
Francis comes in motion this time. Montana goes back to throw. Taylor was on a blitz. Francis has the ball. A yard short, it would appear, of a first down. Byron Hunt and Harry Carson on the tackle.
That was an interesting play here, Pat, to Russ Francis. As he came in motion, you see him here, he's coming in motion. Now he comes in here and he fakes like he's going to crack back. Then he just slides right off in here, and that's where Montana hits him. See, he's a motion guy here, coming in. Now he fakes like he's going to block. See him miss the block. Then he gets up, comes right in behind that umpire, and catches the ball.
2nd and 1. There's the Giant 38. Rice was the man in motion. This is Sprague. And Leonard Marshall stopped him short of the first down. Marshall looks stronger every week.
Well, you know, that backside end, or the end away from flow, is the guy that has cutback. Now watch Marshall. Craig starts away from him. Craig's going to start to his side. Now watch Marshall. He comes in, then he just keeps that leverage on him, so that when he cuts back, he cuts right into big number 70.
49ers made some offensive adjustments. Solomon is in, and so is John Frank. Solomon is number 88. That's Tyler in motion. The pitch is back to Craig, and I don't think he got it. Harry Carson was the first man there.
And he didn't get it, Pat, and Byron Hunt was the next guy.
It's too far for Wershing. And so Max Reniger, the punter, is on. McConkey standing back at the 10. High kick for Reniger. McConkey lets bounce, and the 49ers are going to down it way down close to the 1-yard line. Runiger did his job. The punt was only 37 yards, but John Frank downed it at about the 2-yard line. We're all in John Madden, and we're Giants Stadium, where the Giants lead the 49ers 3-0 in this wild card clash. Giants backed up to their own 2-yard line. There's Ronnie Lott playing with that very tender left little finger. That was some description he gave us yesterday about what they had to do to get that thing back together.
Well, he really had it sewed up twice. They sewed it up once originally, sewed the nail back on that little finger and the finger back up. Then he had to go to a hand surgeon and have it done again, and the nail taken off and the skin put around that bone and put it all back together. And he said the toughest thing since the injury had been the flight. He said on the flight it started to swell and throb on him, and said it bothered him more on the flight than anything else. But he said he wanted to do it without affecting that finger next to him. He said he just wanted to see if they could put something on it and just let it dangle there, but he couldn't do that.
That's the series record between these two teams, 9-7. Giants haven't won since 1979. The last 2 years, the last 2 defeats particularly in the playoffs, have really stung. Sims to Carpenter. He's outside with room. Carpenter broke some tackles and got some breathing room. Ronnie Lott finally knocked him out of bounds.
That was a big run coming off that goal line and being able to get it out of there. So now you can pass. You don't have to worry about the safety, and you have room for your punter if you do get stopped.
That's the matchup we're looking at right now. The 49er defense, the Giant offense. It's an excellent rushing defense against a fine running attack. Lionel Manuel was a man in motion, and Sims gets to Morris. Morris knocked backwards and lost perhaps a couple. John Hardy was the first man to hit him, number 75.
Yeah, the Giants haven't had a lot of position yet, or especially on this drive, but I thought they would go after Torrey Nixon sooner. They haven't really tried anything on him yet. They've been running, of course, and they've hit some passes inside, but I think Torrey Nixon is expecting them to come at him right now. And I think that the Giants, I thought they were going to earlier.
Well, Bobby Johnson is out in front of him now in a passing situation. 49ers showing blitz. They give to Morris instead. Morris gets to about the 16, picks up 3 perhaps. Ricky Ellison and Jeff Stover. Last week. Boy, that's some effort, isn't it? 36 carries, 202 yards, second highest in team history. Missed the record by 4 yards.
Yeah, as you see Joe Morris run off, and you say he's 5'7", 195 pounds. How does he do that? How does he make the Pro Bowl? He has very strong legs. He's the second strongest squat guy on the team. He squats over 500 pounds.
Very strong upper body, too. Sims, the high snap almost went over his head. Sims down the middle, incomplete. Intended for Johnson. Lott cut just in front of Bobby Johnson, who couldn't hang on. Dwight Hicks credit with an assist.
You know, they're playing Jeff Fuller, usually plays a linebacker position. Today they're playing him out here as a corner and a cover guy. Now he's a big, strong guy. What they're going to do is put him up on the wide receiver, just let him play tight man-to-man.
In the meantime, there was a penalty on the play. Someone from the 49ers lined up in the neutral zone, so they'll get a 5-yard penalty. It'll still be 3rd down, however, and it's 3rd and 2 now.
Well, now this becomes a run or pass situation. Although it looks like the Giants are staying in their shotgun or passing formation.
Out of the shotgun, and this is that formation where Tony Galbraith has been so effective all year long. Doesn't look like he's close enough to Sims to do it this time. They were on a blitz. They got the first down. George Adams. This is from the other side of the field. Now we're back on our side of the field.
You can see here that the 49ers are bringing Ricky Ellison right up the middle. He just got cut so that Sims had enough time to step up and get the ball out to Adams. That was linebacker Keena Turner covering a man-to-man.
On first down, they get to Morris over the right side, and the whole pile moves ahead about 3. Fred Dean, who doesn't normally play in running situations like that, made the stop. Drive began back at the Giant 2. 2nd and 7 at the Giant 30 down. Dean comes out.
You know, this is interesting coaching, though, for both sides, Pat, in that they don't have the headsets, they don't have the phones to the press box, so they're kind of going by what they can see in the sidelines and what they can hear from their players as they come in and out, because they have no communication. This is the old-time coaching stuff.
This seems like old times. Maurice Carthon was the fullback. He comes out of the backfield. Sims looking in that direction. He's going to have Lionel Manuel, and it is a catch. Torrey Nelson, the defender.
That was the first time that they went to work on Torrey Nixon. That was a nice move that Lionel Manuel made. It was an out off of a hook pattern. Watch this. He starts here. He's going to come up. He runs hook like he's coming in here. Torrey Nixon back starts in here. Then Manuel comes out here and catches the ball here. Now, watch him as he comes up here. Then he's going to hook to the inside. See there? Then he starts inside, and boom, Manuel comes back outside.
First down, Giants. They again give to Morris, and Morris over the right side gets across the 50 to about the 49 or 48. Jeff Stover made the stop.
You know, I'm sure that the coaches up here in the press box would be saying to the Giant sideline, if they could, hey, when Torrey Nixon is off like that, we can get any type of pattern on the second move that we want to. Give him one move, he'll go for it, then go back the other way.
They're going to give him another receiver. This time it's McConkey. And it looks like Nixon's got him right by himself. Outside Morris. Morris from behind by Todd Shell and Carlton Williamson. A gain of only 4 to bring up a third down.
You know, we started off with the Giants doing their games earlier in the season, and remember, as we do the games, you could just see each week Joe Morris get more confident and more confident each week, and his offensive line get better each week and get more confidence in him.
And they go hand in hand, don't they? They used to say the 49ers couldn't run until they got Craig and Tyler, and all of a sudden they had a good offensive line. Morris again. First down. Keena Turner tripped him up with Jeff Stover, but it's another Giant first down. Pretty impressive drive here.
It is an impressive drive coming off the goal line, but Bart Oates, the center, did a good job on Michael Carter that time. You know, everyone was expecting that Oates would have to have help on it, but that time he just went man-to-man. He took him by himself. Watch Oates in the middle, 65. See him drive into Carter, then he gets him turn. You see Carter fighting him, and then boom, Morris gets right by.
Here we go on first down again. Down the center of the field, intended for Bavaro, who got tangled up with Ricky Ellison. No penalty markers.
That's the one that they're looking for, that double coverage. What you have is you have the tight end Ellison, man-to-man on the tight end Bavaro. You try and get him straight down the middle, and he just tripped over Ellison's foot. He would have been open there.
He would have been.
Ricky Ellison says, I'll take him any way I can get him.
McConkey was open then. Manuel is split wide to the right. Johnson down to the left. They give to Morris. Michael Carter on the bottom of the pile with Dwayne Board.
Well, that time Bart Oates didn't get Michael Carter. Watch him. He's gonna slant right here. He starts in. He's taking that right side. He gives him the head slap, gets the left arm up, runs right by him, and gets Joe Morris. I'll tell you, he is a load in that middle. When you talk about loads, Michael Carter is a load.
He is in that 300 neighborhood.
And he's like always in a stance. He was born in that position.
They need about 12. Ball batted in the air, intended for Galbraith. Fred Dean got a hand up and knocked it away.
Fred Dean, of course, hasn't had the great year as a pass rusher this year that he had last year, in the last couple years with the 49ers. He really hasn't been getting a big play. Here he starts on a stunt and just gets that right hand up there to knock the ball away.
Landetta to punt. McLemore back deep for the 49ers. Signals fair catch, makes it at the 19. A 23-yard punt by Sean Landetta. And the 49ers will take over, trailing 3-0. And Aggies, both coming up on CBS. Here's Roger Craig. Nothing doing. George Martin. Harry Carson right there.
You see John Frank on Lawrence Taylor that time. Remember they got out it last year. Last year in the playoff game, and in that play they had John Frank and Russ Francis both lined up on the same side. John Frank was going after Lawrence Taylor. The play was over. John Frank was still going after Lawrence Taylor.
There are Francis and Franks together again. Pass is to Jerry Rice. And Rice gets outside the 35. Montana took a pretty good shot, and he's slow getting up.
Yeah, those quarterbacks do take quite a beating. You know, after they throw the ball, here's Jerry Rice. Well, see, he's just making a quick or a slant move there on Ted Watts, and Montana comes up and gets him. Watch number 54. Andy Hedden is going to hit Montana just as he throws the ball. I tell you, that first contact's hurt, but then when they drill him into the ground
and then land on top of him,
then they get a triple different.
Montana back to throw. Marshall in pursuit. Marshall was there first, and Burt got there second. That's the first sack.
Leonard Marshall is lined up inside over the guard. He's lined up over John Ayers. What he does, he just splits that gap between the center and the guard. Boom, he takes that gap on. He makes Montana put the ball down, and then Jim Burt was right on top of Montana. Montana can't take too many more of these.
The Giant defense led the NFL in sacks. Rice Clark wide left, Rice wide right. Montana chased by Marshall, screen pass to Frank, chased by Taylor, caught by Taylor. They got something going, those two.
The old Lawrence Taylor sniffed something there, didn't he, when he saw it was John Frank. He said, let me go get that guy.
That's the end of quarter number one. And the Giants lead 3-0. Like it's going to be a lasting relationship between John Frank and Lawrence Taylor. It began at Candlestick Park last year. We thought we had the audio from this match, but that's Frank, of course, number 86, and Lawrence Taylor, number 56. We had been told that Frank sticks to you like glue. He sticks to Lawrence Taylor like glue, doesn't he?
There was a whole pile of them there. The official was trying to grab them apart. That was a wrestling match. There was a takedown and 2 reversals and 3 points for a pin.
The winner was John Frank. That may not last. 3rd down and long. Montana back to throw, has some time, gets Francis down the middle. The big Russ will have a 49er first down at the Giant 46 after a gain of 20.
Yeah, that's a college play there, Pat, that you don't see very often. It was a short sprint throwback. Watch Montana. You see him sprint there. It's a little play fake. Look, he sprints a little to the right, and then he throws back here to Russ Francis coming from the left side. Sprint right, boom, throw back to your tight end.
And the key to that being he had some time.
And he has a big target in Russ Francis down the middle.
Wendell Tyler in motion. Montana will throw on first. Has it batted away. Incomplete pass. Burt is charging around. Charging into Guy McIntyre. No flags as yet.
McIntyre sure came flying out of that offensive side. They were talking about Joe Morris being the second strongest guy on the Giant team. Jim Burt, number 64, there's the strongest.
He's got to be strong to get that jersey on like that.
And it just sticks right there. I mean, he got all those parts, that 6 and the 4 underneath his arms.
And those parts are crowded together. 2nd and 10. The Giant 46. Here comes a blitz. They get it outside to Craig. That can be dangerous. Craig down the sideline will get enough for a first down. Perry Williams knocked him out of bounds. Roger Craig, who had such a great year. The first person in the history of the NFL ever to accomplish that. Over 1,000, both rushing and pass receiving.
And here's the thing that he does so well. As Bill Parcells said, this is what we have to stop. The 1-yard pass and the 12-yard run. He said it looks like nothing. He said they hit it out there, then boom, he takes it up the sideline, and they get first downs on you. Just a little 1 or 2 yard pass.
See, here comes the reverse to Rice, and he's going to throw it. Rice can throw it. Intended for Dwight Clark. That's a little wrinkle we haven't seen.
I'll tell you, it didn't fool either Ted Watts or Terry Kennard. They were both back there with Dwight Clark. Now watch it. It starts here on a reverse. He comes here. Now Dwight Clark is the guy they're going to try and throw to here. The secret here is that Terry Kennard stays right where he belongs, and then they go there, and there's no one to throw to when Rice throws it from there. See, now they'll start both backs this way. Here comes Rice. They ran the same thing last week against Dallas, a reverse run. But look at Terry Kennard stay back there in the post.
That'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Solomon had replaced. Here's another one. That looked like it was going to be an option pass. That was Derek Harmon carrying it. Looked like he was trying to pack it downfield. Ted Watts up to make the stop.
What if the 49ers are setting up something? That was an interesting formation. That time they split the left tackle, Bubba Paris, out, and they put John Frank in the slot. Let's see if we can see it. See, here's Bubba Paris, here the tackle, and here's John Frank. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not going to set something to run over here.
The line's unbalanced to the left as well.
Right.
3rd and 10. Montana starts Rice in motion. The crowd is loud. Incomplete, intended for Harmon. Kennard was right back there with him.
And I'll tell you, George Martin was on Joe Montana again. Just about every time Joe Montana throws the ball, he's getting knocked down by a Giant pass rush. That time was number 75, George Martin. Watch him here. See Martin coming. Montana throws. He doesn't even see Harmon. And boom, he takes the whack.
He got that one in the hip, not in the ribs. Here's Runniger into punt. McConkey standing back at about the 14. Runniger put it dead at the 2 the last time. It'll take a lot of time. This one's going to hang up there pretty good. Into the end zone. 32-yard punt. It almost had another chance to down it inside the 5. 3-0. The Giants lead the 49ers. There are the phones, the headsets usually worn by the coaches. They have been out of action for quite some time. And Bill Walsh still doesn't have his headset on. Byron Williams is the man in motion. And Sims gives to Morris. Heard somebody yell reverse, but that's no reverse. That's Morris. That's vintage Morris for about 5.
Well, what they did, it was interesting, Pat. They did fake the reverse to Byron Williams. Morris started this way. Williams started back. And the 49ers, that held the 49ers. You'll see here, he starts here. Morris comes this way. He's going to have the ball here. And they fake the reverse. So the 49ers hold here when they see Williams coming back to the side. See Williams coming here? And they fake the reverse right there. That holds the 49ers back there.
Back to throw is Sims, and he's got Pavaro wide open. Pavaro out to the 39-yard line. First down, a gain of 14. Parcells has his headset back on. He is talking with someone, or at least I hope he is. and Bill Walsh has his headset back on. So phones appear to be working on both sides. First down, Giants. They pretty much control the tempo of the first half. Here comes Morris behind Ard and around the corner and knocked out of bounds by Dwight Hicks. A gain of 7.
Hey, Billy Ard made a nice little block out there on Carlton Williamson. See, as the guard pulls, now the strong safety has containment. Now all he has to do is get him up there, make contact, and turn him. See, just get that much right there. Now that allowed Morris to get outside and pick up about 5 yards.
Good footwork, Billy.
Well, he's growing a beard now, too.
Morris hit behind the line, nevertheless. Lunges up close to a first down.
Yeah, Billy Ard said that he's not going to shave until the Giants lose. Watch Michael Carter there. Most of the time when you see him, he takes that right side. Bart Oates tried to shut him off to that right side, and all Carter did was push him there and come back and tackle Joe Morris.
But that gave you a pretty good indication of how strong Joe Morris is.
And you can't assume anything. You have to block him. You can't trick him.
Timeout number 1 for San Francisco.
That's a San Francisco timeout. They must have had some sort of confusion on defense because Ronnie Lott didn't like what he saw. It's still 3-0.
See why Ronnie Lott took timeout if you count the X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys. So he had to take timeout and say, we can't play with 12. They'd catch us there.
3rd and short. There's Lott calling the timeout. Hasselbeck in motion. And the give is to Morris. Morris inside the 45, about the 44. A pickup of 7, a first down.
Hey, you watch center Bart Oates, 65 there on Carter. He drives out. He gets some pretty good position there. A little movement. Carter gets him up, and by the time Carter gets off, he's trying to fight away from that hole. Joe Morris just squirted right by him.
1st and 10 Giants. Sims will throw it on first down. Manuel. And Nixon on defense, but another first down. Good throw from Sims.
Well, that was a big part of the Giants' game plan. They were going to work Lionel Manuel, coming off the injured reserve, but very fresh on Torrey Nixon. And you see how he goes for that first move again. It was the same type of thing. Manuel comes down, gives him a little inside move, and runs the out off a hook move. It's the second time Nixon went for that hook.
Manuel is out there with him again. Carpenter is the lone setback. Now Manuel comes in motion. Sims goes back to throw. Looking. Intended for Bobby Johnson. Nothing there. Dwight Hicks was the closest 49er. 10:55 left to play in the first half. The Giants, after a 47-yard field goal by Eric Schubert, still lead it 3-0. Bill Parcells, and the word we get from the 49ers is that Dwight Clark has a slight concussion, but is expected to return. Sims 6 out of 11. 2nd and 10 from the 49er 29. Morris right side. Dragged down by Keena Turner.
You know, an interesting thing, Pat, as we saw that shot of the Giants sideline, the offensive coordinator, Ron Earhart, who is usually up in the press box, he's the guy right there with his arms crossed. He's down on the sideline now. He calls the plays. So what usually happens, he usually calls, he has his book there with him. He usually calls down to the sideline. Of course, when the phone went out, he came down to the sideline.
Lionel Manuel split wide out to the left with Torrey Nixon facing him, crowding him. 3rd down and 7. High snap from Oates again. Handed for Tony Galbraith. Incomplete. But they're in Schubert's range now. Would be from 43 yards. Jeff Rutledge, by the way, the backup quarterback for the Giants, is the holder. And we have seen him on a couple of occasions try option runs from this situation. That was with a different kicker, however.
I think Schubert's going to kick this one.
That one is lined to the left. And they'll bring it back to the line of scrimmage. And the score remains 3-0. Schubert, as a matter of fact, did run one of those option plays off that field goal formation against the Cowboys. Atkinson was the other one. Number 90 is Todd Shell of the 49er linebacking corps. He's headed for the locker room. In the meantime, Elvis Patterson has come back from the Giant locker room. Still limping a bit, however. Rice was the move man. Montana out to Rice. Gain of 8. Watts.
That's an interesting thing that the Giants did on that play. But they brought Perry Williams. Look, he lines up here like he's going to cover, but instead of covering, he comes right in here at Montana. He gets there a little late, but I'll guarantee you that's something. Just that little move there is something the 49ers haven't seen, although they pick it up. It'll give them something to think and talk about.
We saw the 49ers do it last week against Dallas. Here's Montana. This time he has some protection. It bounces away to Terry Kennard. Bounced off the hands of Russ Francis. And the Giants will have a first down inside the 49er 40.
I think the guy that really made that play was a linebacker, number 55, Gary Reasons. Watch him. He reads past. He's getting back. Now he's reading Montana. Now what's 55 right there? He gets in. He hits the ball. And Francis, that knocks it up. And now Terry Kennard is right back there waiting for it.
Rice made the tackle. Kennard brought it back 15 yards.
And here's the guy who made it all possible.
Gary Reasons. There's the interceptor.
Reasons is a guy that doesn't get a lot of publicity or a lot of talk, but makes a lot of big plays for this Giant defense.
Manuel comes in motion quickly. And Sims will look in that direction. He gets it across to Bavaro. Mark Bavaro inside the 25 to about the 23 before Torrey Nixon can get him down.
That's the thing the Giants want to do. Get their running going early like they have, then run the play pass. They faked it off tackle and brought Mark Bavaro across the field.
Bavaro had a good year. Much better than most of the Giants expected. First down at the San Francisco 23. Morris to the middle is knocked backwards. He hit something pretty hard in the middle.
That was a refrigerator, a 49er refrigerator. Watch Michael Carter, number 95. He starts into Oates, then Godfrey comes down on him. He just pushes him out. Here, get out of here. Then he just turns his body sideways, and Morris ran into it. There was Ronnie Lott to finish it off.
Morris had to take a couple of backward steps and regroup. 2nd and 11. That's Morris in motion to the right. Outside, they get it to Carpenter. Carpenter knocked out of bounds. Ricky Ellison after a gain of about 6.
One thing I like about the way the Giants are playing there, they have good play selection. You know, they're running the ball, giving it to Morris, throwing it out here to Carpenter, throwing it downfield, working a little to the outside receivers. I think they have a good, intelligent game plan. They're not doing anything stupid.
It's 3rd and 5 from the 18. The 49ers have been, particularly in the last half of the season, very difficult to run against. It's Carpenter and Morris. 3rd down. Manuel in motion. They've been able to protect Sims. He's got Bavaro and a touchdown. A one-handed catch. Bavaro's caught 3 for 47 yards, and that touchdown, and Schubert hits the extra point. It's 10-0 Giants.
Dave, look at that again. I think we're going to see Ronnie Lott. He's going to get a little bump here on Bavaro, but not much. I think that hand is bothering him there. You see Bavaro gets right by him. Carlton Williamson is there. He gets by him and then puts that one hand up to, come on down here, ball. Let's watch what he does here. All he does is start off here, gets a little bump in here, then comes right to the post. Sees the tight end there, comes off there, gets a bump right there. Now he runs by him. He runs by Lott and Williamson.
Heck of a catch. Phil Sims watching that catch. Wow.
I'll tell you, they don't let the defensive linemen celebrate anymore when they get a sack, but they still let the quarterbacks celebrate when they throw a touchdown.
Everybody's looking in the other direction. This is Carl Monroe at the 5. There's a flag down. Maurice Carton made the tackle after a 23-yard return, but this has got to be against the 49ers.
I think so. That's going to be blocking in the back from behind.
Illegal block. Number 99 of the receivers. First down and 10.
Mark Bavaro over on the sideline. Wonder what they're going to do next year when Zeke Mowat comes back.
Probably use 2 tight ends. I saw Zeke Mowat yesterday, and he said he's about 90%. He says by the time the mini camp starts, he said he'll be as good as new.
Outside of Clark. Clark down in the grasp of Lawrence Taylor. And they're going to penalize Leonard Marshall. He took an overhand right shot at Bubba Paris after the play was over.
And he better back off after he does it, because it'll be a 15-yard penalty.
Number 70 on the defense. First down.
No question about it.
It'll be a 15-yard penalty, but if you don't stop, they'll throw you out. Someone said, hey, Leonard, that's enough. You got us 15 yards. Stay in the game, huh?
Watch 77.
There it is, right there. And here comes Marshall. He throws that right. That wasn't really a bad one. He hit him in the shoulder. All he was doing was pushing him off.
At the 35, it's Tyler in motion, and they give to Roger Craig. Craig covering up the ball, finding no place to go. George Martin.
I tell you, Leonard Marshall's the type of guy you don't want to get excited. You know, he's one of those guys that he plays at one speed, but if you get him excited, he's going to play at another speed, and I think he's at another speed now.
Elvis Patterson on the other side. They'll decide at the half, the Giants will, whether he'll come back into the game or not. Rice and Francis both lined up wide to the left. There goes Francis in motion. Might be that same play. To Craig. Carson was chasing him.
You know, Roger Craig has had a great year for the 49ers this year, but in the last couple of games is slowing down. He has a bad knee, and it's a thing in there behind the knee, and the longer he plays, the more tired that leg gets hurt. It looks like he has a lot of life early, but he kind of gets run down in the last few games as the game goes on.
It's third down. Blitz coming. Flag is down. Penalty marker went down back by Montana. Now let's see what it's about. Leonard Marshall, I believe, was the first man there. It's going to be against the Giants.
Leonard Marshall came on a heck of a pass rush that time. He lined up over the left guard, John Ayers, and he just split that gap again.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 71 on the defense. First down.
That's against Casey Merrill.
Yeah, because Marshall gave a good pass rush. Casey Merrill came in later. Watch Marshall. He starts getting that leg cocked. He just hits that gap between Quillen and Ayers, splits the thing, and he's right there on Montana. Now the play's over. See, that late one was Casey Merrill coming in late. Marshall got the sack. He celebrates, but Merrill got the 15.
That's the first down from the 41. 6:48 left to play. Pitch back to Craig, who cuts back and gets only 3 or 4. Harry Carson fill the hole.
The Giant defense played that perfectly. That's the way you would draw it up. They come up on the side the ball is coming to, and everyone on the backside away just slid right down the line of scrimmage. That was perfect run defense.
Craig got 3 yards, so it's 2nd and 7. 49ers at their own 44. Draw play to Tyler. Almost stopped in the backfield by Marshall. Finally tripped up by Banks and Burt.
Jim Burt did a good job on Fred Quillen. Here comes Leonard Marshall. He comes from the outside. You see Burt holds him up. There's Burt right there, waiting right on the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and about 2. Montana scrambles wide right, throws back across the field to Clark, and it's complete. Harry Williams was with him. Montana took a shot, and so did Clark after he caught the ball.
Well, that's the second time that the 49ers have done this form of thing where they start off and they roll to the right and throw back. That's a shot Leonard Marshall puts on Joe Montana. Whoa. And I'll tell you, he was hurting coming into this game. He said he was going to start. He said he's not sure how long he could go.
Tell you what, the 49ers have better figure out a way to get that Leonard Marshall blocked. Handoff is to Wendell Tyler. He's trying to scramble to his feet. Angrily getting up. Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks on the bottom of the pile.
Hey, this is a fired up Giant defense. I think, you know, on this drive, the Giant defense has gotten 30 yards worth of penalties. But in addition to that, but in spite of that, they're still playing very well. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I mean, they're fired up, they're going after them, they're doing things, but they also got 30 yards of penalty.
2nd and 9 as Wilson comes in motion. This is Tyler behind Ayers. Tyler, a 49er first down. Harry Williams tripped him up. The number 1 offense belongs to the 49ers. That's in the conference in the NFC against the 2nd best defense in the NFC. Of course, the Bears have the best defense. Curtis McGriff's big broad back. The weather turned out not to be a factor. It's cold, but very little wind. Montana gives to Wendell Tyler. He is down to about the 16 before he's tripped up by Kenny Hill.
Isn't it something about the surgery today, how a guy can have surgery and in 2 weeks later he's playing He's back playing as Wendell Tyler is doing here. We see just straight ahead blocking. Ayers fires out on Harry Carson. It was a good block by the guard. Put Carson down, and Tyler was right in behind him. The guy has surgery, and then he's right back playing.
Tyler is out. The Giants have taken a timeout with 3 minutes to go in the first half. 49ers have a 1st and 10 at the Giants 16. Where Bill Parcells was back in 1962, and where Phil Simms was. That's what Jim Burt looked like back when he was 4 years old. John Madden said to him yesterday, "Hey, Jim, you grew into your eyes." That's when he was 3.
Yeah, he had the same size eyes then. He had adult eyes then. He kept the same and then just grew up around it. Arms got bigger, chest got bigger, jersey got smaller. Got stuff hanging out of his nose.
62, of course, in the event you might not be aware, was the last time the Giants hosted a playoff game of any kind. And if they win this one, and they are successful hosts, Jim Burt will think Santa has come again.
That's football down there now. Huh? You got those jerseys, no shirts underneath them, big arms hanging out of there, paint to paint down there in that center.
The handoff is to Craig, and he gets maybe a couple. George Martin and the rest of the middle of the Giant defense brought him down.
That's the thing. You know, they always say you can't run against a 3-man line if you don't get movement on the nose tackle. And what happened that time, Burt was able to hold up that middle so that Martin and Marshall could come down from the outside. Watch him here. He holds it up. See there? No movement there. Now Marshall can come down from this side and Martin from the other side because there was no bubble or soft spot in the middle.
They only got about a half yard. Tyler runs right into Burt. Tried to cut it back and had nothing.
Burt's fired up now. We show that baby picture of him there and start talking about his eyes. He said, "I'll show you some play."
He stays fired up.
I know it. Look, that jersey's sneaking up now. You got some stuff hanging out under there. That's a good deal. That's about, you know, Burt would probably wear about 50, and that jersey's probably about 38.
It looks like it could be 38 years old.
Yeah, but he's playing in there. They're swinging. They're hitting. There's stuff flying around down there.
2-minute warning. Giants 10-0. Giants 10, San Francisco nothing. 2 minutes remaining. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. 49ers have the ball, 3rd and 8 at the Giant 14. Giants lead at 10-0. White Clark is split wide to the left. Montana running for his life, chased by Marshall. Pass is picked.